A new tool for the Halo Infinite community has just dropped, and I want to show you how to download it. It's called InfiniteMITM. It's a tool made for the community by the community. It's not created by Xbox or Microsoft or 343 or anyone in those positions. So a disclaimer should be applied before we get into how to actually install it. You can see this disclaimer here on their GitHub. The application was designed to enhance your experience and should not impact other people's experiences. However, by using this app, you acknowledge and agree that you are solely responsible for any actions taken with this app, including any potential bans or other consequences that may result. Developers of this application are not responsible for any disciplinary actions taken by game administrators or parties. So, with that in mind, I just want to make sure this disclaimer is known before I show you how to install the application. Please take this to heart. Again, this is just for educational purposes. I don't want to tell you to install this or tell you what you should be doing with it or anything like that. I just want to give you the information on how to actually do it. So, with that, let's get into it. First step would be to go to the GitHub repository for the tool itself. You can do that by going to this link here. I'm going to add that in the description so you can get to it easily. But when you go there, you'll see this page here. You'll be taken to the home page. A lot of these things, if you're not familiar with GitHub, won't make a lot of sense to you. That's fine. You don't really have to look at these for right now. So what we'll want to do is we'll go on and go down to the README section. In the README section, you'll see some information on the tool itself, what it is, the disclaimer we had talked about already, and then you'll find yourself at the installation. So when we go here, we want to click latest release. And then when we go to latest release, we'll see the releases in order. These are uploads, changes that have been created. So we'll want to click the asset drop down, and you want to pick the asset that's relevant to you. For most people on Windows, that'll be this one here. So we'll pick Windows, and you'll see the download start. We have the download completed, so what we can do is we can click show in folder. This will take you to a zip file, so we want to click that. We want to click into it, open up the zip file, and then you'll see an application window here. Double click the application window, and this is the first thing you'll most likely see if you're on Windows. You'll see that Windows protected. This is in the docs as well as a known issue. To get around this, all you have to do is click more info, and then you'll be provided with a button that says run anyway. Click run anyway, and you'll see a prompt window here, a command line window open up. It's going to start asking you to run the application and provide some additional feedback and privileges. We can click yes. And from there, it'll begin looking for everything. It'll verify your root access, make sure your certificates are downloaded. Since I've already done this before, the certificate process already has occurred, so it is missing slightly, but this is the window you'll end up with at the end of the process. We'll walk through what these mean then, but for right now, it is installed. So we can just minimize this window for right now, and we can click out of this. Now I want to talk a little bit about the install root certificate. Now, if this is your first time going through this, it should set this up for you automatically, but if it doesn't, what I'll suggest you to do, or if you have issues with the certificate, what I would suggest you to do is go to this page here. That'll kind of walk you through what to do it. So mostly you just have to download this certificate, click install, and go through the prompts there. Very, very straightforward, but I want to call it out as certification can be a problem from time to time, so that is something to definitely consider if you are having certificate problems during installation. Or if you think you may, it's not too bad to actually just go through this and reinstall the certificates manually. After installing the certificate and making sure that the application is installed, we should be provided with this window here. So this will be where you start the proxy server, which is how the CLI is going to interact with the request back and forth. And we'll need to make sure that this is actually working. So our next move from here is to actually start up Halo Infinite. So I'm going to go to my homepage here, and I'm going to pull up Halo Infinite. So for me, I use the Microsoft bar here. You can go ahead and I can click on Halo Infinite and click play. and we'll see Halo Infinite fire up. So I'm going to keep this up, and I usually let my Halo Infinite start first. There seems to be an error if you start the proxy server before Halo Infinite actually starts, so I want to make sure that we have this ready to roll once that happens. Okay, and now that Halo Infinite is starting up, we can click Start Proxy Server, and we'll click Allow once we see that. And you'll be provided with this screen here. So this is the main screen that you'll receive for the actual server itself, and Halo Infinite will start to load as normal here. And normally I would keep this on my second screen, but if you only have one screen, this is probably what you'll have to do. But we can just wait until Infinite boots up here. Okay, we'll click play. And then we'll click Windows, and we'll bring back up this, and then we'll see a bunch of information being logged. This is exactly what we want to see. This means that the traffic is being intercepted by our middleman software before it's reaching the Infinite servers. This is exactly what we want to see. So if we want to actually go through what these are, we can click through them with the down arrows and the up arrows. And then if you want to see what the actual request is, you can simply click enter, and it'll take you in to the request itself and show you what's going on. So you'll see information about who's requesting it, what it is. These are normal codes and response codes that you would see for any type of application. This is exactly what we want to see. If we want to go back, we simply have to click Q, and that'll take us back to this board here. Now, this is going to continuously log the requests that you're receiving and sending out. So a lot of these are GET requests, obviously, so we're just getting information, but these will start adding up as we continue on here. And as you continue on through the Halo Infinite application. Now, you'll start to see these add up. So if I go to a different screen, if I go to multiplayer, we can see that these are still changing as I go along here. And you'll continue to see this moving forward. So this will give you some indication of what's actually happening between Halo Infinite servers and your computer itself. Now let's say that I don't want this active any longer. Well, all you have to do is click this X up here, and it will turn off the proxy server. So once you're done with that, it'll go back to being as normal. The proxy server will stop. It'll get rid of any of the cached information that was added there, and you're back to normal. So I'm going to just exit out of Halo Infinite now. Now we confirm that the application is working and installed properly. We're going to go back to the GitHub page here and start enabling some things that the tool has to offer. The first thing we'll do is we'll enable SmartCache. This is a relatively straightforward process, so I want to show you in this video. In the next video I'm going to create on this, I'm going to show you how to actually select your server. It's slightly more involved. It's not too hard, but it probably deserves its own video itself. So for this one, I'm going to limit myself to doing the SmartCache. So once we see the column here, we can click on the hyperlink, the SmartCache hyperlink. It's going to take us to this page on GitHub, and it's going to explain what it's doing. So it's caching images, binaries, JSON, etc., what the cache services are, and then how to actually enable it. Now, to begin working with this and begin turning this on, we actually need a text editor of some sort to start dealing with some files that we have in our directory. So my favorite one for this is VS Code. It's free, it's made by Microsoft, it's a pretty easy download. I'll put a link in the description below to actually do that and where you can find this tool. But to actually get to it, the first thing we're going to need to do and begin editing this, the first thing we're going to need to do is find the file that contains the file it calls out. So whenever we're in our directory here, we're going to go to the InfiniteMITM file. So we're going to want to go here, and we're going to see this YAML file here, and we're going to want to open with Visual Studio Code. And then once that happens, you'll be greeted with the screen here. This is Visual Studio Code. This is a a code editor, fairly lightweight one. It's very good. It has a lot of things you can do with it. And this is what the code looks like. So this is what the MITM YAML file is. Now we want to look for this part down here. So if we go back to the page, I'm going to minimize this a little bit. So if we get back to this page here, you'll see that we're looking for this code block here. So we're looking for options, SmartCache enabled, true. By default, this is set to false. So typically when it comes in, it will look like this. But to make the change, all we have to do is click true, or type in true rather, and we'll want to go to file once that's complete and save. So that is saved. It's now enabled. So the next time you turn on the tool itself, SmartCache will be enabled. Then it'll start caching those things that it calls out. The other thing too here, while we're in here, that you can change are some things here. So let's say that we want to display everything that's happening, all of the gets and the puts and the back and forth that the tool is actually dealing with. We can change this from SmartCache to all and save again. Or if we don't want to see anything in the terminal window, we can just click to silent. Or if we want to just see what's SmartCached, which is what I had before, all we have to do is add in that, and we can click save again. So this will show you just things that are SmartCached that are coming through. Again, these are all kind of alterable. Above as well, you can also make sure if you want things saved to memory or persistent. So disk is going to save it for an extended period of time, so the duration up here, or in memory it'll get flushed. So you can pick whatever you want to do here. It's up to you, but these are all editable as well. By now you should have the InfiniteMITM enabled, ensured that it's running, and have SmartCache enabled. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to pick your server. It's a little bit more involved, but it is relatively straightforward too. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.